Hello, everyone. Just giving ourselves a moment to make sure everything is going live on our social media pages as well. So thanks for joining us on Facebook and LinkedIn this morning and YouTube. Alrighty, I think we're good to go. So once again, thank you everybody for joining this morning. My name is Erica Alexander. I'm the Assistant Director of International Admissions here at Indiana University, Indianapolis. And this morning we're going to be speaking with Albert William from the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering here. But before we do that, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to Indiana University, Indianapolis, and how admissions works at international level here. So to begin, Indiana University, Indianapolis is a premier urban campus with endless opportunities. In the fall of 2024, we are becoming IU Indianapolis. So you may have heard of us as Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis in the previous years, but we are officially transitioning this fall to IU Indianapolis. We are building on that foundation to train the next generation of innovative leaders in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana of the United States of America. Not much is changing with this transition. We're the same Division I Jaguar athletics. We have over 300 majors to choose from, and we're building upon, like I said, that 129 years of IU in Indianapolis. Currently, we have just over 30,000 students at our university, both undergraduate and graduate and transfer students, and our international student population is just over 1,800. We have over 100 countries represented on campus. Our student-to-faculty ratio is 13:1. So although you may have some lecture-style classes, once you decide to major in a subject and by your second year, you'll start to get smaller classes with one-on-one instruction from professors. We have a great international student services team here as well. So we provide professional staff support throughout your degree program. So ever since the day you arrive through your years at IU Indianapolis and even beyond, we're here to help you in that process. We have a comprehensive orientation and welcome services through graduation with OPT and CPT guidance as well. We actually have what we call peer mentoring, or our international peer mentor group of current international and domestic students that are here to welcome you and help you along that way as well. It's always nice to get a current student perspective in your journey for sure. Along with that peer mentoring group, we have group activities and programs to help you meet people and learn about Indianapolis. So I know we just finished our spring orientation this January, where we welcomed some spring students to our campus. We took them to a grocery store and helped them learn how to get groceries, how to use the famous JAG line, which is our bus that transports you throughout campus, but also to different spots in Indianapolis. So just a few things like that is how we help to welcome our students to campus. For undergraduate and graduate programs, we have 15 degree granting schools, more than 300 academic program combinations combined. We're the only university in the state of Indiana that has medical, dental, nursing, and law schools all on one campus. So we're really well known for our research university, getting that hands-on experience, both in companies for various majors, but also we have hospitals on our campus that you can get hands-on experience in. In addition, current IU Indianapolis undergraduates have the opportunity to explore many different accelerated bachelor's to master's degree programs. So I know there's a lot of programs in the Luddy School that allow you to do an accelerated 4+1 program. So you can get both your bachelor's and your master's degree in only 5 years. Graduate program funding and deadlines depend on the department. So while we collaborate with the graduate schools, you will need to be in contact with your graduate program if that's the position that you're in and if you're applying to grad school. So they will help you go through the application process, but of course we're here to help as well, help any issues that you're having along the way. Our top programs are going to be in STEM, of course. We are known as a STEM campus, a public research university, but we also have health sciences. Our Kelly School of Business is very well known. And of course, the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing and Engineering, who we have here today. We have the only dental school in the States. We have the nation's largest nursing school and largest medical school in the country. So again, very well known for health and science fields. We're also home to the BioHealth Informatics Research Center, Integrative AI Institute, and more top companies within Indianapolis, only steps away from Indiana University, Indianapolis campus. We are known as Indy to locals, so if you ever hear that term, that's what we are referring to. So Indianapolis, short term for it is Indy. We are the capital city of and economic center of the state of Indiana, and we have a thriving economy with accessible internship and career opportunities. So as you can see here on the map, again, we are walking distance to top companies in Indianapolis. If you've ever heard of Salesforce, we are very close to Salesforce, Eli Lilly Pharmaceutical Company. So many opportunities to get internships even within your first year of study, as well as research opportunities with professors. Indianapolis, Indiana is also known as the Crossroads of America. That's because we have one of the best airports in the United States that gives us access to all the major cities within 5-hour flight time. So while you're here in Indianapolis, if you do want to explore more cities throughout the United States, it's very easy to do so, and we highly recommend doing that. Our downtown location, 15-minute walk from campus. So not only do you get that easy access to internships, but there's a lot of things to do. So there's a lot of restaurants around town and museums, a zoo that you can see from our campus. We have bike paths and many things to do. We're actually getting ready here in Indianapolis for the All-Star Basketball Weekend. So if there's any basketball fans out there, we're very well known for our sports city. So we've hosted basketball tournaments. We're preparing this summer for Olympic swimming trials in Indianapolis. And of course, the Indy 500, which you may or may not know of, but it's the world's single day largest sporting event in the entire world. So be sure to check that out when you're considering Indiana University, Indianapolis. We have over 450 Kelly School of Business internships since 2020. 88% of the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing and Engineering is the employment rate. So once you graduate, you have a very high chance of getting employed. We are number 4 in US cities for high-tech job growth. And we are ranked top 10% in the world for delivering on sustainable development goals. One quote that I wanted to share with you all this morning here is from one of our peer mentors that does help our students get introduced to IU Indianapolis. His favorite part about living in Indianapolis is diversity and the very friendly and welcoming community that we offer. So we also like to throw out the term Hoosier hospitality. So if you ever hear of that too, that just basically means that we're a very welcoming city, both to locals, but also to international folks too. So we're very used to people coming into our city from all around the world, especially for those big events and sporting events that we have. But that's kind of what Indiana is known for, is for being so welcoming to all of our visitors. For your undergraduate application checklist, we do need an application. Applications are currently open for fall of 2024. There is a deadline for scholarships coming up here soon in February. So please apply by February 15th if you do want to be considered for those merit scholarships. We'll also need your official academic records. SAT and ACT scores are actually optional, so you do not need to submit those, even for the merit scholarships. We'll need financial documentation and then a bank statement documenting your ability to pay tuition and living expenses for one academic year. There's a link at the end of this presentation where you can scan and find out more about what those fees and scholarships look like and how to apply. The ultimate deadline for applications is May 1st, just to put that on your calendars, but do keep that February 15th deadline in mind for scholarships. And here's this link here. So if you would like to stay in contact with us, this link gives you access to our emails, our social media sites, and also important links to stay up to date on different program offerings and scholarships. So please do scan this, stay in contact with us, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. We're always here to help. And with that, I will turn it over to Albert William, professor and lecturer at the IU Indianapolis Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering. And Albert, let me stop sharing my screen and I'll let you begin your presentation.
Okay. Thanks, Erica. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, all good.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. All right. Can you see that fine?
I can. It looks great.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our presentation today. As Erica said, I'm a lecturer in the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering in the Media Arts and Science area. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself today and our program. So this is myself. I'm Albert William. We also have another professor that does similar work to myself named Zeb Wood. And then we have some other professors that are adjunct professors that work in this area too. Dave Perry, Travis Foss, Wen Krogh, and Becca Cromer. My background is, as Erica was saying, we have a large medical school on campus. And I have a Bachelor of Science in Biology. I worked in the medical field on campus for 15 years at the medical school. So I've worked on campus at IUPUI since 1991, and I love it here. It's been a great place to study and to work. I also have a Master's of Science in Informatics. So after working in the medical field for a number of years, I started getting into animation and visualizing proteins, and also using animation for education and health and science related areas. So I have a Master of Science in Informatics that I got specifically to use tools to show how science and health works. I'm also an artist, so I do all kinds of things such as painting and some drawing. I'm a photographer, and I've been a musician for almost all my life as well. I've been semi-professional, and I've played all over the Midwest, and I've released different albums. So to me, it's all about art. I got into computer graphics, like I said, to visualize proteins because, well, not too many people were doing it at the time. And I found it to be very interesting and very rewarding to show people, from little kids, like you see here in the graphics, little kids at one of the health centers in town, to some of these more advanced animations. And this is a particular cover that I did for a magazine. So I've had all kinds of things that we've shown. But basically, I'm making animation for education and training. I have stereoscopic movies that I've created, so 3D movies, and that's what you see with these kids wearing 3D glasses. And like I said, yes, I've been at IUPUI since 1991, and since informatics since 1991. I want to show you real quick a little bit of my portfolio here. So this is on CN. If you want to copy down this URL, it's thecn.com. AW1391. This is my portfolio. You can see some of the work that I've done and about me. All of these particular tabs allow you to see different things. So we've done some recent animations for ocean plastics, things like that, pollution of ocean plastics in the ocean. I also lead a trip to Greece. It's a study abroad trip that, and you can see a lot of my work here. And I've been doing this since 2015, and we're actually going back there this year. So that's a little bit different than a lot of the medical and science work that I do. We also do things in town, such as digital heritage, and this is a tour of one of the historic churches in town that's right near campus that we've worked on. And then here's a lot of some instances of some of my medical work that I've done over the years. And most of this is 3D, but some of it is, as you saw, is traditional illustration. So again, you can take a look at this. And then I have a whole thing here about some work that I like to do. I really like to do work with fractals. And this is another computer program that I get into. It's really fun to do. And then I have some other things that I've built both for personal things and for classes. And some of these you may recognize. Anyway, you can take a look at this. This is just a recent one that I did, which was a animation for a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon animation contest that was just finished very recently. Anyway, that's a little bit about my background. Here's a few more pictures. A couple of these you saw as well in my CN site. So we've done everything from visualizing viruses to this is Hurricane Katrina that I worked with some folks on from the National Hurricane Center to show this, and we did this in stereo. This was another, down here was another cover that I did for a magazine, and was also within the National Science Foundation to show how various polymers work. So my areas of expertise really are all areas of animation, 3D animation production, medical scientific visualization, stereoscopic display and rendering, asset creation for AI training, virtual reality, and also digital heritage. These are all the things I'm working on. So recently I've been doing a lot of things with training AI to recognize different traffic patterns, things like that. Virtual reality, a lot of this that we do work in Greece falls under that, but also certain things in Indianapolis, like I said, the Bethel Church. There's also a theater near us called the Madam Walker Theater that we've scanned, and it's a very historical building right near campus that we have documented that and preserved that for history. Moving forward. So what we teach, myself and Professor Wood and the other folks that I mentioned earlier, this is the area of the Luddy School of Informatics that we teach. Overall, the school teaches all sorts of things, 3D, video production. We also teach web development, a large area of game development, and sound enforcement, those sorts of things. But what I particularly teach myself and Zeb Wood are 2D and 3D animation, hard surface modeling, organic modeling, unwrapping, texturing, lighting and materials, compositing, special effects, virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, history of gaming, or I'm sorry, history of animation and 3D for gaming. These are on the right side here, most of the classes that we take. It starts out with history of animation. This is one that I developed, and Wen Krogh teaches now, and teaches all about the history of animation over the years from the 1800s till now. We have digital painting, and I'll show you a little bit what our labs look like shortly. The main course that I teach is this N243 Intro to 3D. And I teach this every semester, and we usually have about 40 students in that class, which is a very large class. I think, as Erica said, most of our classes, we have about a 13-to-1 student to professor ratio. So 243 is a large one, but as we go further on, they get smaller. So my N341, 342, 343, 345 courses all have about maybe 15 students in it. It depends on the semester. I do teach a N437 sci-fi and VR class, and I'm teaching that this semester. And so we develop in Unity, and students can make their own sci-fi levels, and it's really very a lot of fun. We also have things in here of advanced character composition, compositing and VFX, character development. And then we end up with a team production class. And that was the class that when I talked about creating the animations for plastic pollution, these were the classes that we have created that in. And those are true international collaborations. We've been working with collaborators in Taiwan, Sweden, and Greece to create these movies. And we've done 3 of them overall. And you may have noticed too that Erica was talking about some of the SDGs that IUPUI works on. And this falls into one of the SDG categories that we worked in. And those are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that educate people on various aspects of what's going on in the world. Then we have N499, which is a capstone project where all students have to come up with either an individual or a team project, and you get to define what you want to do, or you can work with a client either in town or anywhere. And it really is meant to show off all of your skills that you've learned while you're in the program. So the software that we use, mainly we use Adobe Creative Suite. We use Photoshop, Substance Painter, Substance Designer, Premiere, After Effects, Audition, Media Encoder. We also use a very high-end 3D program called Autodesk Maya. It's the industry standard for all 3D programs. There are some other programs that are used in the industry, but Autodesk Maya is perhaps the most powerful and the highest used in the industry. So that's why we teach that. Some of the other programs that we teach that are industry standard too are UV Layout, Unity, Unreal, Mari, Nuke, Marvelous Designer, Houdini, Marmoset, Helix, Microsoft Office. One thing I like to remind students is that almost all of these programs are free for students to use. And I think this is a huge benefit to IU students. I actually have a student of mine. My daughter is a student at IU. And one of the reasons that we chose IU is because all of these pieces of software were free. And it really was economically beneficial to be able to use all the software for free and not have to incur additional costs. So what classes are like? So this last picture too, you'll notice this is one of the classrooms that I teach in. This is a pretty full classroom. This is one of my animation classrooms or classes from last semester, and students are critiquing each other's animations here. So this is a typical class that we have. It has about 42 computers in it. What our classes are like. So this is another picture of that same class, just from the other end. And you can see students critiquing and looking at each other's animations here. So most of our classes meet once a week, and they're a lecture in this lab. They are 2 hours and 40 minutes long. They generally have anywhere from 7 to 30 students in them. And like I said, some of my intro classes are a little bit more. We have very high-end Windows workstations that are some of the best computers on campus. We also have a couple Mac labs as well. And those are kind of more for video production, but certainly we have the software that we use for 3D production on there as well. You have access to all the needed software that you need to. You may notice that these monitors are a bit different. These are Cintiq monitors, so if you have a specialized pen, you can draw directly on them. And if you remember from one of the first slides I showed you that we have a digital painting class, and so students can come in and paint digitally and create environments. It's a really cool class. So this is what the Cintiq monitors are used in. You won't find too many labs anywhere in Indiana or across the country too that combine the technology of using these Cintiq monitors with the very high-end computing that we use. We have the use of very large storage drives. We have one that's called OneDrive that you have access to that you can store, I think, up to almost a terabyte of information on, and then you can access that from anywhere in the world. We have teaching assistants that provide support inside and outside of classrooms. So every one of my classes has a teaching assistant, which is a student, an undergraduate student that applies to work with me, and it's a paid position. And then we also have tutoring that other students or the TAs do with that as well. So anytime that, or not anytime, we have scheduled meeting times for the tutors to provide support for you for that. In my classes and almost all the 3D classes, mine and Zeb's classes, we are project-based assignments. So that means every week you have something to do in 3D. So for instance, this week, some of my students are building lawn furniture in their 3D class. In my lighting and materials class, they are texturing spaceships. So they have a week to do those, and then we look at those, they get feedback, and they iterate those and make them a little bit better. And then we move on to other projects. So we have in class and project critiques and feedback that are both by myself, the TAs, and also other students. So we like to get everybody involved. And 3D is really a networking community that allows people to look at each other's work and critique on it. And this is a great way to learn 3D from other people as well. There's also ability to use the other labs, technologies, and areas as needed. We have things like 3D printers, we have laser scanners, we have big displays, touchscreen displays. We have a lot of technology in our building and in our school. We've also just, because we've realigned Luddy, we have become a very large computer science department now in our school. And a lot of people are kind of combining a lot of computer science now with some of the art that we are doing. So I want to show you a reel here. And let's see, I hope the sound works and everything for you. But this is a reel of students that have done work in our classes.
Audio Jungle.
So that's one of our reels. I have a couple other things I'd like to show you.
Audio Jungle.
Start it over again. So let's go ahead and take a look at another one. This is one of my students who created this particular animation in my intro class. Everybody kind of does a solar system movie, and this was Phil's movie. I'm going to kind of move forward a little bit because it's got a bit of an intro here, but well, I guess couldn't. Anyway, this is an intro student project. So that all that work took place in about 3 weeks for that student. So that shows you, and this is an intro student that shows you had no skill in 3D at all to begin with, and how quickly in one semester you can get up to doing some really cool animation. Let me turn that off and move on to the next one then. And I have one more that I want to show you here. And so this is the most recent movie that we created, this team production.
dream of how the plastic ocean can become a clean ocean once and forever.
Speckled Maya has a dream to share. We must hear her vision.
I must tell everyone of the wonderful dream I had.
A dream?
My dream of how the plastic ocean can become a clean ocean once and forever.
Let her speak.
On the beaches, I see people picking up garbage, sometimes in large groups, and they take the garbage away with them. It is more than a dream. I see people in boats collecting the floating debris in the ocean. I see divers picking up garbage from the bottom, just the way I do.
This is wonderful. Humans finally understand that garbage doesn't disappear by itself.
I have seen garbage traps in the sea that trick the garbage into gathering spots where people can easily pick it up.
Finally, my friends, there is hope.
But no matter how much they clean up, humans need to stop making so much garbage. They need to change their habits of how they shop, eat, and travel, or else nothing will change for good.
Exactly. And the change has begun.
They're changing. They're changing. They bring their own cloth bags to the grocery store. They carry reusable water bottles.
They make shopping bags out of potatoes and corn.
They buy shoes and clothes made from recycled garbage.
But will they do more?
For birthday parties, they use paper plates and wooden spoons, not plastic.
What food is left, they put in colorful containers to be recycled.
Their children write letters to businesses and ask them to help, not hurt, the environment.
Then there is hope.
The sea creatures are right. There is hope to have a clean ocean and a better world for all, but only if human beings take action now. What will you do to help?
So this movie was created by 5 students this last fall semester. It took them the whole semester to do. It's really kind of aimed for kind of little kids, but to help them to understand plastic pollution in the ocean. So I want to talk a little bit about study abroad. I do lead a group to Paros, Greece. And here is our website for this. This is under the School of Informatics, under degrees and courses, and under study abroad. And then under study abroad, we have our Greece trip. And like I said, I'll be leading the 7th trip that I've done to Paros, Greece this summer. But we do international service learning there. We are documenting the historic and cultural artifacts on Paros, Greece. There's a whole bunch of links here to our work, and we have a lot of videos that we have produced over the years. And this is, we have all these on Vimeo, so you can check these out. So if you go to the Luddy School of Informatics and Computing and find the Study Abroad Greece, this is where I'm at. And so we have about 56 movies that we've created over the 6 years we've gone. And we work very closely there with collaborators to talk to people there and things about like some of the fires that they had, wildfires that they had on Paros a couple years ago, different authors. This is a poet who lives on Greece, a very famous church there and different monasteries. So you should check those out. There's some really, really fun stuff there. Study abroad, we have over 70 programs at IUI that go all over the world, anywhere from 1 week to a full semester, if that's something that you're interested in. In the Luddy School, we have 2. I take or I direct the one to Paros, Greece, and then we have another one that goes to Helsinki, Finland as well. So what do students do when they graduate with all this? Well, we have all kinds of different opportunities. There are local companies, there are local art companies, there are local gaming companies, there are large studios that people go to all around the world. We have entrepreneurs, so some people that start their own companies, and we also have contract workers. So we have students who are working with major studios around the world that live right in Indianapolis, and they work remotely. So I have one of my former students who has done a lot of animation for the Spider-Verse films, if you're familiar with those, Into the Spider-Verse. He's done a lot of that. So we have 3D modelers, texture artists, compositing artists, illustrators, virtual reality, architecture, medical visualization, training for companies. And we have game companies, animators, and we also have students who are doing AI training. Some of the companies that they work at, we have one student who's worked at Pixar for about 15 years, EA Sports, DNEG, which is in Montreal and also Vancouver. The Motion Picture Company, Sony DreamWorks, Industrial Light and Magic. Those are all huge, huge companies. But then some of the smaller ones that we have here in Indianapolis are Red Leonard. That's actually in Cincinnati. But Vision 3, Plow Digital, The Basement, Eli Lilly, all in Indianapolis. And we have a number of students who will stay at IU and continue to do work there as well. So this is from a comic book that some students drew, and that's supposedly me. Any questions?
Thank you, Albert. Yeah, so we'll open up the chat now for any questions that you have, and I'll ask Albert as you ask in the chat.
Okay. Do you want me to keep this screen up here, Erica, or should I stop the share?
Up to you if you want to keep it up, or if you want to close your presentation, that's fine as well.
All right, well, I'll stop there. Yes, so questions?
We'll give them just a moment to type them out.
Mm-hmm.
We did have some great comments in the chat, Albert, just for you to know. Everybody's very amazed about the 3 weeks of that one student creating the project, the animation.
Yes.
They're all very impressed with that.
Well, it is a very impressive animation, and I often get really good animations. And I think sometimes the students impress themselves too, because a lot of them come into my 3D classes and they have no idea how 3D is done. And by the end of the semester, they have 2 really cool animations. One that you've seen, which is based on a solar system, and another which is a little bouncing spring that they get to bounce around and have jump through a flaming hoop. So it's really impressive for me, and I think for the students, to see how quickly they can progress in a very complex area of 3D animation.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I think we do have a few questions coming in here. What are the subjects that you need in order to get into 3D and animations?
Well, that's a great question. Basically, nothing. So the way we teach animation is we assume that nobody knows anything. Of course, you need to know how to use a computer and know some of the basic kind of things about not programming, but how to use a computer. It's good if you have some art skills, but we do have classes in our general core that teaches things like design and color theory, composition, those sorts of things that you would typically get in an art school. IUI has a very good art school associated with it called Heron School of Art. We have a lot of students that go over there and become illustrators, or not become illustrators, but they work on their illustration skills. A lot of our students, when they come in, they have some skills already as traditional artists or painters. A lot of them may like anime, so they have a real good background in gaming. So they have an idea of and vision of kind of what they want to do. But the skills I would say to have are basic computer skills, and then any kind of art skills that you have really will just make your time here go a lot easier, and will give you more options of doing things.
Good. Our next question here is, what section of animation do you focus on the most?
Oh, I love all types of animation. My favorite things are making models, 3D models, and then texturing and lighting is really my favorite as well. So when you make a model, it comes out just kind of gray, and I think you saw a lot of those kind of examples in the reel that I showed you. But then we can do a process where we add color, and we can create specific what we call texture maps. So we can draw on them, and we can give an incredible amount of detail, and we use some really high-end programs to do that. You can do it in Photoshop, but we also use another one called Substance Painter. So those are my favorite areas, really. And I think, if you look back at my presentation, you see I have a lot of really nice textures that really, to me, are a great intersection of art and technology that allow you to make an emotional impact in that way.
Our next question here. How do students and alumni manage to get on really cool and big films like Spider-Verse?
How do they? Yes. Well, it's not super easy, but it is possible. And the way you do it is you come here and you kind of figure out what it is you want to do, right? Do you want to animate? Do you want to model? Do you want to be a texture artist? And then you pretty much take that skill that you want to do and you refine it. And so myself and Professor Wood, that is we will talk with you and say, well, what is it that you want to do long term? And then we have students that you just start developing that more and more and more, and you develop a portfolio and a demo reel. And then eventually you get on sites like ArtStation and LinkedIn, and you start networking with people. And you may go to conferences that we have, like the Game Developing Conference in San Francisco, or SIGGRAPH, which is a huge conference that's held generally in Los Angeles, but some other cities each year. And you just start networking and getting your work out in front of people. Our student James Ward, who did work on Spider-Verse, he he's moved all around over the years. He's lived in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in Vancouver. I think he lived in Atlanta for a while. Now he's back in Indianapolis and working remotely. So it's not that, I mean, I don't want to say it's not that hard, but it's not that easy. It takes a lot of work, right? And the animation industry is fairly competitive, but there are some really great opportunities and some. It's a good way to earn a living. I personally have really enjoyed being an animator for over 20 years, and I've worked with lots and lots of different people. And both Zeb and I have done all kinds of projects. He and I collaborate on a lot of things, both commercially and educationally wise. But yeah, so the best thing is to develop your skills inside and outside of class, right? So over the summer, I'll always um, encourage my students to pick some projects and work on them over class. And oftentimes, I have students even will ask me, "Hey, can I get critiques over the summer?" And of course, I will allow that and provide those. And so you just keep, it's like any art field. You just keep working at it, refining your craft, and you can get there. Our student Frank Tai, who works at Pixar, he applied there and got an internship as a student internship for a summer. And then when he got done, they hired him. And so there's all kinds of methods, but basically you just keep reiterating your craft, getting better and better and better, get it in front of people, and you'll get jobs.
Very nice. A couple of combined questions here. Does Luddy have game developing, any web design programs?
Absolutely. Game developing, we probably have the most students in game development. And that goes anywhere from designing games to all the way to coding games in both Unity and Unreal. We teach both of those classes. We have a couple of faculty who do Unreal Engine. Myself and a couple other people do Unity Engine. And we allow students the ability to do either or both if you want. And so a lot of game development. We have another professor, Matt Powers, who's really kind of our game developing professor. He teaches history of gaming. He teaches how to get into Unreal. He teaches game development and how to design levels. And then I think what was the other part was web as well, Eric? Yeah, so we do have a big web section as well. Todd Shelton and Carrie Rector both teach that. They teach full stack development. They do PHP. They do HTML. They do, yeah, I'm not real versed in that, but I know it's very, they have a lot of varied things that they teach. We have a lot of students who come from our class who are from our school who are really good web developers and have developed lots and lots of work. If you actually look at our website, the Luddy School of Informatics and Computing website, that has all been put together by a former student. Of course, he was a former student, 10 or 15 years ago, but he's really developed his skills. And they often employ students to help co-design those things as well. So yeah, those are both very big areas of our school.
And our next question here is if you can expand a little bit more about where you think animation is going in the future, kind of the career outlooks for that, I think that would be really helpful for our audience.
Yeah, that's a great question. Where is it going? That's a very good question. There has been a push in the last few years of using more game engines such as Unity and Unreal to do real-time gaming. And so you can build your whole scene inside of Unity or Unreal and then have it output as a movie very easily. Those game engines have become very powerful and allow us to really create amazing textures and things like that. So I think that's one area where it's going. There's also still a lot of areas for traditional animation, even 2D animation, that people are still doing some 2D animation, but 3D animation too, just in the packages that we're using, such as Maya, are still going to be used a lot, traditional. And if you look at things like South Park and other things that are, I think, oh, I can't think of the name of it right now, but there's a number of animations that are being done in Maya. So I think, we have kind of our traditional roles that are still going to be in the future. We also have using these game engines as very good tools to allow us a kind of a different way to develop. If you want to think about AI, we're developing or we're still thinking and trying to figure out like how AI fits in all of this. It unfortunately right now doesn't present us with a real artistic, unique look. And so we're using AI in some animation to create other things like motion capture and backgrounds and textures. But right now, the AI is not really being used for the animation that we consider to be great animation because it doesn't follow the principles of animation that we would really like to see it. Where it's going to go in the future, that's a good question. But I think we can really bank on the way animation is being produced now, and then also kind of going into the VR realm a little bit more. And then perhaps in 5, 10, 15 years, AI having a bigger part of it as well. I have seen some animation that has been produced with AI. And to me, it's not quite there yet as far as the things that we would like to see. But that's a great question. Yeah.
Yeah. Our next question here, it's a bit of a combined question, but a lot of our commenters are asking about what skills can they refine right now as high school students? So what apps can they start becoming familiar with? Are there any art classes or traditional art that they should take to prepare? And also, last question here with relation to that would be, can you take animation or art classes at Luddy, even if it's not your major?
You certainly can take animation classes if it's not your major. As a matter of fact, I have students who come from all over campus. I've had medical students, dental students. I have a number of Heron students, art students that come. I've actually had people from the math school come. So yes, you can take them all over, and from no matter what school you're in. As far as what skills to develop before you get here, I certainly think illustration skills are good to have. Any kind of arts skills that you have, and particularly color theory, composition skills, photography and or videography skills are really good. And understanding lighting is a really good thing to do. Practicing those things. If you want to get into 3D ahead of time, there's a nice free program called Blender that a lot of students use. There's also, though, if you have a .edu, or you can prove that you're a student, you can download Autodesk Maya for free. It's about a $2,000 program, but if you can prove that you're a student, you can get it for free, and all our students do get it for free. And all you have to do is go to autodesk.com and find the student. There's a link there that says student software, I believe, and you can download that for free. You can also, I think there's a version of it that's about $300 that's called an indie version that you can get as well, and it's a 1-year license. If you don't have a .edu, or if you can't prove that you're a student. There's a lot of programs that you can use. I would recommend getting into learning how to use Photoshop, learning how to use, excuse me, Premiere, some of those programs as well. But those are really good places to start. And what I've found is that students who come in and really hit the ground running with my classes have those sorts of skills. So your basic art skills is a really good thing to have. But that being said, you don't really need to have those. I once had a student ask me, a high school student ask me, what should I know coming into the program? And I said, anything that you know, excuse me, is applicable. Like I said, I have a degree in biology. Of course, I had art skills as well, but it all applied to what I wanted to do. Some computer science is really good, some coding, although you don't have to do a lot of coding, but I always think that that's a good thing to have as well.
Very nice. And just to confirm, what was the program in Autodesk again?
It's called Maya, Maya.
Another question here, and we'll probably accept a few more questions, but the next one is, I'm an engineering student and I have an interest for automobile design, but don't know how I should start preparing for it. Any thoughts there?
Well, that's interesting too. And we have Purdue has a School of Engineering program here, and I work closely with them doing some of the AI training that I'm doing. And we've done things with engineering students using, so typical engineering students use a very similar program to us that's called AutoCAD. And it's a high-end program as well that students can use. There's, I would say that, again, really good car designers have a background in art, right? They understand design principles. They understand how lines flow. They understand composition, those sorts of things. So I think that's a really good place to start, to understand the mechanics behind that, to get some engineering background in that. And then also to start using some of the tools, whether it's Maya, Blender, AutoCAD is a really good way to go.
Great. Another question here. Does the web design department and 3D graphics department have any sort of collaboration between each other? Great question.
Yes, we do. I have a number of students who come from web design that use 3D to make all kinds of things like motion graphics. There are also the abilities to put 3D models into all kinds of browsers now and to navigate around them. I have a former student who works for Amazon who makes mock-ups of products that then they put onto their website, the kind of 360 things that you can spin around. A lot of those aren't actual products, but they're models of the products. And so that's what she does. And so I think she mainly does a 3D, but she needs to prepare them to be in the web browser. And so there's specific things with the models that she has to prepare them for. So yes, there is overlap there. And I've had some students in the past do their capstone projects with me that are web students that have created very nice websites using lots of 3D graphics in them to make them look really good, and then also embedding some 3D elements into those.
It looks like the comments are slowing down a little bit, and we are at time now. So, Albert, any last thoughts for the audience?
Well, I appreciate y'all being here today and thinking about coming to Indianapolis. It's a great school. Like I said, I've worked here for 32, almost 33 years now. I've really enjoyed being here. In the Luddy School, we have a really great and diverse student body. I do have a number of students who are international students who come from India, from the Middle East, from Europe. We have Asian students as well. So we have a great student body here. I think that the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering offers lots and lots of potential applications for you to then go out into the workforce at some point when you finish, and have a lot of great skills that you can really apply and do some interesting work. So I hope that that you consider coming to Indianapolis and the Luddy School. And if you have more questions, please let me know. And you can get through either Erica and get to me, or yes, please let me know if you have any further questions. But would love to see you. If you do end up in Indianapolis, please come see me at some point. And I'd love to know that you saw this first here on this webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Albert. So for the audience members here, if you do have any follow-up questions, whether it's about admission, if you want to get in contact with Albert, you can email us at IApply, so IAPPLY at iupy.edu. So we'll be looking for your additional follow-up questions there. You can always find us on Instagram. You can also probably find Albert on the Luddy School website too, if you want to explore there and get in contact with him personally. But we do appreciate everybody joining us today. I know there's probably a million more questions that you have. It was such a great presentation. So thank you all, and we'll see you next time for the following webinars this year. So please stay tuned for more webinars in the future. Thank you. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.